In this video, I'm going to show you the truth on destiny, free will, and what are called life themes. I'm going to show you if we have true free will, what actually is destined, and how you can change your destiny and life theme. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the difference between what is destiny, what is free will, and what are called life themes. I'm going to be showing you what is what in correlation to what we choose before we come into this life, what kind of free will we really have, how much do we actually create our own reality in general, and understanding this whole process in a new way. Now, the truth of the matter, when we get to having the experience of what we call a spiritual awakening, we become aware that we are more than our physical egos. We are more than the 5 sense perceptions that we use in order to interpret reality. We realize that we are more than that. And when we realize that, it's then very empowering, it's very liberating. It expands our scope of perception of who we are. And when I went through my awakening, I became aware that in a way, all the things that led to where I was in the present moment, which was in 2012, all the pain that I went through in the past, all the challenges that I had, it actually created pressure for me that then allowed me to more easily wake up. And sometimes I think that a lot of people that are on the spiritual awakening process have been through some form of pain in the past, whether that's emotional pain, physical pain, mental, any type of pain in general. That happens a lot because what happens is when the ego is compressed, when there was a certain level of compression, there is then a desire to break out. And a lot of that has to do as well as if everything is just lukewarm and comfortable, there's no real reason to question reality. Everything just is a certain way. But people that have been through things, many people watching this video right now are people that have been through pain in the past that may have led to you becoming more aware of who you are as a spiritual being beyond just the ego structure. So this is something as well that, I was talking to some people the other day about it. It's something that once you experience, it's hard to put into words, but nonetheless, it's something that you just simply know. I've had certain experiences, certain levels of deep meditation to where I just, when I learned meditation is really what changed my life. And I just simply knew that after that, okay, we are eternal spiritual beings. This is a temporary virtual reality in a way. And that if we direct our energy and we learn how the virtual reality works, we can then direct it. We can then harness our energy in a way to where then it goes into more preferable probabilities, more preferable outcomes. However, when we talk about this as well, let's look at it like this. Do we have destiny? Do we have free will? Which do we have? And the answer is both. There are certain things in our life that we could call destiny. There are certain things, appointments, call them appointments, or certain appointments we've made before we came into our life situation or into our life. Certain even limitations that people may have signed up for. I was talking last night with some friends. We were talking about how some souls. There's this school called Waldorf. I can't say the word. Waldorf school, and it's a certain type of like school where the founder of it believes, and that autistic kids or kids with mental what we would consider mental disabilities. They're actually souls that came in to teach us. And they chose that from a higher level to have that kind of limitation because it was almost an act of compassion that could help us understand more about who we are and how to be free of our beliefs, how to be free of limitations. And that's something that really resonated with me. It might seem like an extreme belief to some people, but I believe that we choose our limitations. We choose many things at higher levels before we come into this life so that we can then choose how we navigate through it. How we navigate through it is the free will. And we have free will. It's just that some of it, we have certain things that are destined, certain appointments we've made. Maybe part of that destiny was that you would meet somebody that you wanted to have a relationship with. You could call that a soulmate, a deep relationship. Some people may call it a twin flame relationship. These things can be decided at higher levels. And then in a way, I think what happens is we all have spiritual guides, and our spiritual guides go to work to help facilitate synchronicity. So it's not like a 100% fact that you are going to go through certain things, but destiny in a way helps align that and bring that into fruition. And you have spiritual guides as well that are always helping you to come through certain realizations, to come through certain experiences. And there were certain times I look to my past and I see different probabilities of how things could have happened. But then I look back and I can see how it was in a way orchestrated at higher levels. And if that didn't happen, maybe then some other way it comes. For example, I have this buddy, these two friends, Melanie and Miles Beckler. They're both, they have a website that's on askangels.com. And they're good friends of Lior, Victor's, and mine. They live in Sedona. They're really cool. They make really cool content. And Miles and Melanie are a very deep connection to each other. You can see that when you meet them. And she said that, it's funny, she said that when she was asking her pendulum, you know, she's into like some of the divination or the different types of, you know, connecting to your spiritual guides. It's what her whole teachings are about, mainly, is how to connect to your guides. And from doing that, she asked if Miles was her soulmate. And the answer she got was no. And the reason it was no is because she realized that the more accurate definition was twin flame. Now, here's something that they told us within one of the first, you know, I remember talking to them and I asked, how'd you guys meet? I forget exactly how they ended up meeting. However, what they realized is that a year before they actually met, I think it was maybe through friends or something, a year before they actually met, they were at the same New Year's party. The same New Year's party. And they just didn't bump into each other at that party. But nonetheless, they were in the same place, even though they lived in completely different areas. It was just very synchronistic that they were at that same party. They didn't connect them, but then they connected like a year later. You see, I believe that in a way, they had destiny, they had free will, they had both the destiny and the free will, but the intention at higher levels for them to eventually meet up. And when you see them, you can see, oh yeah, they're definitely, you know, known them for a couple, like a year or two now, and you can just very much see them as a unit, as like, you know, like they just work very well together, and you could just tell that in a way they were meant to be together, and they chose that at higher levels. So how it happens is the free will. I believe that it was destiny for me in a way to be sharing these ideas online, or not even online, to be sharing these ideas in my life, to be helping people to wake up to more of who they are. I believe that that was in a way my destiny. That's what I feel. I feel like that is my calling. And when I'm doing anything that I'm passionate about with it, it just drives me in that direction. However, I believe it's free will through the way that I go about that. The free will is I had to eventually start making videos. I had to make the choice to do that. The free will is I chose to do that online by making YouTube videos. And now I'm changing that free will into doing online YouTube videos plus doing live events. So I'm doing both. But that's my free will. So in a way, destiny is something that we decide at higher levels, and there's certain appointments that we've made, whether that may be a soulmate relationship, maybe whether that may be you doing something for a living, and maybe a certain type of thing for a living. Whether that maybe you knew you wanted to be an artist, but whether you were a musician, or whether you were a painter, or whether you made clay objects, or you see there's many different forms of being an artist, but maybe the free will is how you go about that creative expression. However, when it comes to limitations, maybe somebody is born deaf. At higher levels, I believe many times that was the case, that they chose that. And maybe they chose that because they wanted to learn some level of the limitation of it. Maybe they wanted to learn how to transcend that and how to get over feeling a certain way about that. Who knows? But in general, I believe that at higher levels, we choose some of the experiences that we have. And then free will is the way that we work through that. The way that Bashar talks about it, many of you heard me talk about Bashar before. Bashar says that what we do is, there's a certain hallway we are going to walk through. We're going to walk down. In a way, that could also be a life theme. What is a theme of our life? And I'll talk more about that in a minute. There is a hallway that we're going to walk down. That's destiny. You're gonna walk down that hallway because it's your passion, because your guidance system moves you in that direction. For me, that's making daily video, or not daily videos, but that's expressing ideas. If I wasn't expressing ideas, I don't know what I would be doing. Or expressing myself, or helping people to wake up to more of who they are. If I wasn't doing that, maybe I could have done that via writing, whatever, but this is the preferred mode for me. Down that hallway though, you will walk. Now the way you walk down that hallway is the free will. You could skip down that hallway. You could crawl down that hallway. You could claw yourself through that hallway. You could jog. You could sprint. You could see there's different doors down that hallway. You could check every single door. You could just check one door. You see, the way you go about this is up to your free will, but walk down that hallway is something you've decided to do. Now, there's different degrees of destiny as well. Some people may have had many appointments they agreed to, and some people may have just generally said, you know, I want to experience life on earth. I don't have that many things planned. We'll see what happens. But it's up to us. Now, if you study the work of Dolores Cannon, which are transcripts of people that went into something called QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, a deep level of hypnosis, there are so many people that have been through this that recount and talk about their experiences in life in between life, what they chose about their life, and they go through and they see different probabilities. So in the in-between life, because we're eternal spiritual beings, it's almost like they go to this place, which is really maybe just a level of perception, and they're able to see different probabilities if they were born to a certain family. Different probabilities, different life themes, different things they can choose to, and then working with their spiritual guides, they may orchestrate certain types of experiences. So, destiny versus free will, we have both. It's just the degree will depend upon the person, the degree of the destiny, the things that you agreed before you were born. You chose your parents. Even people chose parents, like, you know, in a way, I did choose my parents, and in a way, I also chose to go through a lot of abuse from my ex-stepmom. I chose that because that eventually led to my spiritual awakening. I just know that. How do you know that? I just know it. It was something I agreed to because I knew it would help develop me and wake me up out of the illusion even faster. Because this seriousness of 3D is an illusion. It's just that we believe so much in it and we give it so much power that many times it has power over us. Now, one of the things that many of us, if you study the work of Dolores Cannon, thousands of transcripts from people all over the world have said the same thing. I came here to be a part of the shifts in consciousness. I came here to be part of the Great Awakening. Never before has this level of 7 billion people on the planet had the chance to wake up together as quick as we are. Relatively quick as well. Maybe it takes, 20, 30, 100 years, but we're all waking up quicker than ever. And in the past, maybe in different parts of the solar system, or the galaxy, or different levels of consciousness, maybe it's something that takes a longer period of time. Maybe then there's a lot more devastation. There's only certain people that ascend into a higher level of consciousness. In this life, we have the ability to all wake up together. And that is the life theme that many of us have chosen to be a part of, is a theme of transformation. If you're watching this video, then you are somebody that's on this path of transformation, because you can only perceive that which you are the vibration of. There's different degrees to it. There's different levels to which you choose to be a part of, but nonetheless, we're waking up to more of who we are. And if you look out into the world, you can see a lot of things are tearing apart and tearing down because it's like a sandcastle. You have to clear away the old castle before you can build the foundation of the new. That's what's happening. We're realizing, and it's not very hard to see. If you look into the political system of your country or wherever you're from, you'll most likely see that a lot of things are falling apart. A lot of things are looking like a circus act. And what that's doing is that's waking us up to more of who we are. That's waking us up to more of the illusion itself, of holding the blindfold over our eyes. But that was a theme that many of us agreed to experience. And there's different themes. I think one of my life themes is learning patience. I'm a very naturally impatient person. I move very, very quickly. I'm very focused, I have a very strong willpower, and I move in a certain direction, and sometimes I can be very impatient. I believe that one of my life themes, one of my life challenges is for me to learn how to be more patient. So maybe there's certain life themes that you feel like is something that you're learning. Maybe it's how not to be attached. Maybe you find in relationships you're always so attached to the other person. and that causes a lot of pain. But you can learn from that life theme and then let it go. So life themes are many times challenges or threads that you notice through your entire life. Maybe a certain story, a certain narrative you have. Oh, people always treat me this way, and then they always do treat you that way. And maybe that's a theme that you agreed to experience that. Then you could transcend it. Doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you can also transcend it. But in general, right now, there is this desire, I believe, for so many people to transform to a new level of consciousness. And I believe that it's because there's this great awakening that's happening on the planet. I've been knowing about this since 2012. I was just afraid to talk about it in 2012 because it was a little bit more esoteric. But it's so obvious that so many people are waking up. And it's happening. And remember, a higher vibration is much more powerful than a low vibration. So even if there's 1 million people that are at a high vibration that are waking up, that will influence hundreds of millions of people in a positive way that are at lower vibrational states of consciousness. But this isn't really even about levels. This is about the awareness of who you are and what your life purpose is, what your destiny is. And if you want to know what that is, what you could do is you can do a meditation for connecting to your higher self. I actually did this yesterday. Lior, we're here in Costa Rica, and Lior was sitting on this couch right over here, and it was like swinging, and I put her into this like trance thing where then she was talking to her higher selves, and she got guidance. She was wondering why she was feeling a certain way, and then she had a dialogue consultation with her higher self and her spiritual guides, and they explained why she was feeling the way she was, and they gave her a whole bunch of really cool insights. And that same meditation that I did for her there is also a higher self meditation that I have. So if you want to learn more about your destiny, your free will, your fate, whatever we call it, or the life theme that we have, listen to the meditation below for 21 days and look at the kind of information you get. This is for connecting to your higher self. I also had somebody that I met at this place called Rhythmia where Victor, Patty, Lior, and I were doing plant medicine, and there was 60-something subscribers, 90 people there at it. 60 out of the 90 were people that came because of our recommendation. And there was a really cool lady, person there named Nikki, who told me, she's like, hey, I just want you to know that I listened to your higher self meditation. I met my higher self and she was super dope. I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's a higher self meditation though. If you want to listen to that meditation, you'll see in the top description box below, listen for 21 days and see what comes through. This information is all within you. So it's about being aware that yes, there's destiny. There's certain things you agreed to before you were born. Yes, there is free will. You can choose things in your life. You're not destined to a life of poverty. And if you think you are, then maybe it's just for you to experience that to then get out of it and get to a higher level. So these themes, this destiny, is things that as you learn, you can then transcend. And the way you transcend is by raising your vibration. That is the key. However, the life theme, I believe for most of us, is transformation, stepping into our power, expressing our ideas. If you're watching this video, then you're at the leading edge. You're at the leading edge because many people are still deeply asleep, worried about paying taxes and all of these things that seem so real. I'm not saying not to pay your taxes. I'm just saying, that's part of the illusion that we agree to. But what I'm saying is people give so much solidity and seriousness to it, and that's why it seems so heavy. So with that, what I recommend you do is listen to that meditation for 21 days. Realize you have free will. You have certain things that you agreed to because you're an immortal spiritual being living a temporary human experience. This is just a dream of life. Loosen up with the dream of life. Have more fun. And the more fun you have, the higher you raise your vibration and the easier things happen anyway. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like this video if you liked it. Let me know what you think below. And I think I'm going to make another meditation too that's similar, maybe like a 0.2 version of that as well. Let me know what you think if you want me to make more meditations in the comment section. And as always, I'll see you on the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.